Crypto Cats, my name is Tom. I am the crypto investor, and it's time for our weekly market roundup of the crypto space. As ever, we start with a heat map of the top 100 coins in crypto, and you can see that after 8 beautiful green weeks, we finally have red on the board. ETH is down 6%, Bitcoin down 8.6%. We have Solana down 10%, DOT10, Luna, VeChain down 15%. But hey, what's this down here behind my face? Avalanche, AVAX, is up 38%, bucking the trend. Everyone pay attention to this token because it really is storming, and I think it's just entered the top 10. We also have Crypto.com up 60% for the week. They're going from strength to strength. And the meta space doing very, very well. We have Sand and Mana up 15, and come on computer. I'm recording from location in Thailand, and this is the only quiet place I can find, and I'm using a laptop which is a little slow, so sorry the quality is not as good today. But if you do appreciate me recording this for the third time now, I've been doing this for about 2 hours and trying to get this content to you, please hit the like button, I really appreciate it. We're nearly at 1,500 subscribers, which isn't bad, is it? For 3 months work or 4 months, I'm not sure. Anyway, get back to it, Tom. Gala, my goodness, up 400%. This is a gaming token that has stormed into the top 60 or so. Quite an amazing move. Wish I was holding it. Engine Coin, which I am holding, up 14%, more modest. All right, let's have a look at the bubbles. Well, there is that Gala, outstanding, incredible move. WeMix, I assume that's some kind of music token. Also a very interesting space to be invested in. Render, I think this is GPU rendering. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with these tokens. KDA has pulled back 20%. I think this is the first negative week they've had for 8 weeks or so. Fairly in line with the market, I guess. And there is Sand confirming. Oh yeah, Elrond as well, up 20%. The other layer one doing very well. So this is this week we have Ethereum's burn has offset 78% of issuance. This is a new feature I like on ultrasound.money. It's quite cool to see that. And we've seen that OpenSea is starting to chug up the numbers again as well. And you can hardly see me, but you don't need to see me. And I'll go into why that is in a minute. All right, so one of the interesting pieces of news this week was Constitution DAO. So this was a token people, they basically said, we want to buy the Constitution. There was the only privately owned Constitution for sale, up for auction with Sotheby's. The other 12, I believe, are in public galleries and museums and such, but this one was available. And so they whipped together a DAO. I think in 7 days they managed to raise $41 million, and something like 20 million of that came in the last day or so. But they got outbid. And it's a shame they didn't meme it as well. They could have got outbid to 42, but I think it was bought for $41 million. And it was bought by Ken Griffin, who is a billionaire hedge fund who has been outspoken about the crypto space. So a bit trolly of him. But you know, they were always going to get outbid when your amount of money is on the open ledger. It's pretty, pretty obvious that was going to happen. You can outbid them by $1 because you know how much funds they have. But the takeaway here was about how well we can mobilize. And I think it's just incredible what they were able to achieve. And who knows what they'll go for next. I like the idea, for example, of, next time if a national park is under threat, everyone gets together and say, right, we'll buy the national park then. And I can see a rainforest DAO or something like this coming into place. It's really exciting what can be achieved collectively, and there's a lot of money, a lot of clever people, a lot of capacity. This is just for me the first kind of use case of what is going on and what can be achieved. All right, let's give you some sweet hopium. So this is a flow-based Ethereum price model looking at the average selling pressure of Ethereum, the average buy pressure of Ethereum, and based on that, this comprehensive report gives, well, this is quite nice. You can see this is the amount of Ethereum on exchanges versus the price of Ethereum. Beautiful correlation there. But yeah, this looks at Ethereum's current move and projects that after the merge, we will see by the middle of next year, $65,000 Ethereum. I would take that. And I think it's a little optimistic. I think maybe we're about 18 months away from that. Should everything remain fairly on track. but I don't think it's improbable. And our kind of ape brains aren't particularly used to exponential growth. We're not really used to these kind of returns, but I think this is fairly well documented, fairly well quantified. You can see that this is based on the weekly fiat inflows. Of course, these are fairly high. We are in a bull market. I'm not sure what the average of, but based on our current 1.2 billion, this would have a price target of 80,000, and it shows you lower price targets. Only 70 million weekly inflow would put us basically where we're at. 320,000. So, it's really small inflows would achieve some pretty dizzy numbers. And then you can see, I'll open it quickly and see if it loads in time. You can see that the sales outflow is also calculated on here. And what many people fail to consider as well is that when miners are no longer having to use vast amounts of energy to mine Ethereum, they don't need to sell a portion of the Ethereum they mine to pay their energy costs and their rig costs. So validators won't be selling down their Ethereum to quite the same extent. So, this is impossible with a deflationary token and demand only increasing. Of course, the assumption is that we don't go into some aggressive winter. I personally don't think we do. Interesting interview with Raoul Pal yesterday. He feels two things. One, that the stock to flow won't play out, because once you have too many people kind of invested in an idea, it almost doesn't tend to happen. The opposite tends to happen. So I think it's highly improbable. Ben Cohen was saying this as well on the Bankers podcast, that we're going to see anything like 200,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. But it's also, and we might see a bit of a sell-off and some high volatility when that doesn't happen. But I think it's also improbable that we see a very long winter. I can't imagine for a second we're going to see anything like we saw throughout 2018-19. That 3-year winter that we experienced. Raoul says that he anticipates that large institutional money is going to be allocated in January. They have a responsibility to allocate capital in January, and he thinks that this is an obvious play for them. So, hey, I'm buying it. Just to show that I'm not a complete ETH maxi, this is Zhu Su, who is a prominent commentator in this space. 400,000. He has 400,000 followers on Twitter and is part of Free Arrows Capital. He's saying, I've abandoned Ethereum despite supporting it in the past. Ethereum has abandoned its users despite supporting them in the past. The idea of sitting around jerking off, watching the burn, and concocting purity tests with zero newcomers when zero newcomers can afford the chain is gross. And it's true, that newcomers are obviously put off by this price and they're favoring other layer ones. And the other layer one that he's referring to big time is Avalanche. He has it here, AVAX, in his description, and he's talking here about the fact it's just got into the top 10. It has had a monumental move and probably does go higher. But then he has gone on to say that I will diffuse a bit. I love Ethereum and what it stands for. I would just love for it to be available to all and not just the early. Thanks all. Work towards the same goal. And, I think that Ethereum's trying to do that. The idea is that we're prioritizing security, prioritizing decentralization, and it's the scalability that's the cherry on top. And everything is there on the roadmap to achieve that scalability. It comes in the form of L2 rollups. It comes in the form of modular blockchains. It comes in the form of sharding. So I feel it happens, and I feel actually this kind of negative, the fact that ETH's still ticking up very nicely with a fairly negative rhetoric just shows that I think people that are really clued up in this space understand the prospects for it and why it has such an incredible value proposition, and that it looks likely it will achieve those goals. Anyway, I still end up sounding like a bloody ETH maxi, don't I? Right, if you've got a ledger, this is some good news. It finally works really well with your MetaMask. They've improved it. So update your MetaMask, update your ledger firmware, it will sort it out. Square, Mr. Jack Dorsey is looking at creating a decentralized Bitcoin exchange. Of course, Bitcoin only, Bitcoin Maxi AF. But that's cool, good for the space. This is David Hoffman of Bankless just saying that's why Web3 will win. Congress wants to break up Web2 giants and antitrust efforts. We've seen lots of complaints over the monopolies that exist within our incumbent financial system with the likes of Apple and Amazon and Facebook and Microsoft and Google and such. If they really want to break those up, then what better way than a distributed web-free infrastructure where we all plug into a central place but hold custody of our assets, custody of our data. So it ticks that box, and maybe it gets government backing, or maybe the government isn't actually in it for the people. Who knows? This is Jimmy Fallon of the, I think, Saturday Night Show, is it? He basically had B-Pro on there talking about NFTs and said that he is a Bored Ape holder, and we've since seen Bored Ape prices skyrocket. NFTs are on the up a bit, mostly in the profile picture NFT space. Generative art not doing quite so well, but I think apes are up to like 50 Ethereum floor, and the mutant ones are doing quite well on the back of that too. And yeah, it seems that apes are much more popular culture focused. Punks are for the purest original OGs of crypto. But yeah, they are doing very well. The Staples Center, which is the basketball arena for Lakers and Clippers, is now going to be the Crypto.com arena. So we now have FTX and Crypto.com. Crypto.com seems to be doing very, very well, and they just seem to have bottomless pockets. But these are all wins for crypto. If you're fed up with those high gas fees, well, hey, you can get yourself an 8% discount if you do this is basically the cost of gas by the hour. You can see at the beginning of the hour it's expensive, and you have a 8% reduction at the end of the hour. So if you're looking at when to do your swaps on Uniswap and SushiSwap and such, you can get an 8% reduction if you do it between the 50th minute and the hour, so the last 10 minutes of the hour. So I guess that's kind of useful. All right, let's get into the charts, Crypto Cats. Did I ask you to like and subscribe? Please like and subscribe. So, Bitcoin. This is looking at the weekly chart. You can see, of course, that we are down on the week. We have this fairly nasty 10% so far candle. We were down 15% as a whole, but we have come into this consolidation zone where we had a lot of noise in the past. It's where we expected there to be buyers, and so far we have had buyers. I think really for us to regain this upward momentum, we need to get above, let's just put something on the charts here. We can still see a kind of channel here, live TA with you. We are still in this kind of upward channel, and maybe buyers have come in early. Maybe we do come and retest 53,000 or so for resuming up. But I think to feel confident, if you're wondering, if you're sitting on the sidelines, I would wait for a clear break of it's right at the 60,000 line, not surprisingly. A daily close above there, and we head to all-time highs as far as I can see. Just looking at the total market cap, I should have started with first. Again, the total market cap of crypto is down roughly the same as Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin representing 42% of that total market. And it came and kissed exactly on my support line at 2.4 trillion, which was the previous high we set in May, and where we failed to get above in August. Resistance, turns support. It's textbook stuff. And I wouldn't be, maybe we have another retest or we just continue to resume up from here. But I would say, for me, it's a good 70% probability that we continue our grind back up higher, looking fairly decent to me. Ethereum, we lost our channel after 45 beautiful days in this nice, easy linear channel. We came up, failed, broke down, and have since found support. Again, really easy at this 40,000 level. And we have since bounced off there and moved back up. Is it too easy? Maybe. Maybe this is a little, God, I've forgotten the word. Such an easy word. And maybe, maybe we come back down, and if we fail to hold at 4,000, we'll likely find very strong buying pressure at 3,600. I would say I'll give it, again, a 70% probability that we do grind on up and we don't actually get that double test bottom. But we're not out of the woods completely yet. It's still in the balance. For me, again, to feel very comfortable that we are soaring to all-time highs, it needs to break 4,600, and then then we start ticking off in the 5,000s and really see this go. So I'm personally, if we get any dips around here, I'll be adding to my position. Otherwise, waiting above here, then I will be adding to my position. So kind of no man's land for me at the moment. Looking at the ratio between ETH and Bitcoin, love this chart still. We continue to be in this tightening wedge, and we will be. And I would say, I think Raoul Powell actually said he gives this an 80% probability that we break to the upside, and I would agree with that. It's looking, a matter of time. Whether it takes till 2.0 or whether we get it earlier, we will see. But also depends on the Bitcoin dominance. Sorry, ETH dominance, which is sitting just shy of 20% still. We're flirting with it, really flirting with it, 19.8%. A break of here, and we likely really move. We really see ETH dominance move. But I think for that to happen, we probably need to be also breaking that upper limit for the ETH Bitcoin ratio, or Bitcoin really needs to drop a bollock, who knows. I doubt that would be the case. So yeah, I think the two would coincide with breaking this personally. Looking at DeFi US dollar on the weekly chart, you can see that we are down, much the same, kind of down but recovering a little bit. Versus Ethereum, depressing as fuck. We had those 2 weeks where it looked like maybe we're having a momentum change, failed, breakdown at the low of the sessions, continuing to bleed out versus Ethereum. Check all of your tokens, check your top 5 tokens, see how they perform against Ethereum. If you don't know how to do that, you can do something like this. You open a new window and you type in, why am I doing a live demo on this slow computer? We could type in XRP, because this will be a horrible one for XRP. And then we can choose that, and then we can go /ETH. So it's pretty simple to do. And then we can see how that shows, put that on the weekly chart, and you can see how XRP just bleeds in one direction versus Ethereum. So yeah, really easy comparison to make. Make sure you're checking your top 5 tokens. There's no point holding speculative tokens which will bleed on the downside even worse if they're not even out competing on the upside. You need to be holding quality. So preachy. So what have we got now? Let's have a quick look at Solana. Much the same, still holding a channel quite nicely. Has broken past this where I would expect it to find a bounce personally, but has found support on that lower kind of channel line. But Solana just losing a little bit of its luster in the last couple of weeks or so after the controversy internally of more tokens, and I guess Avax taking the limelight as the other layer 1 competitor. Metaverse, MVI with another storming week. This is versus Ethereum as well. The Metaverse last 4 weeks is up 80%, and don't forget, this is like an ETF. This is 25 different tokens. It's an aggregation of them. If you don't have MVI in your portfolio, you absolutely should. It's my second largest holding after ETH. MVI could easily continue to outperform ETH as it is, and it's nice. You've got strength in numbers. You've got 20-30 different tokens in that portfolio. All right, crypto cats, can't really see you. I'm in here somewhere. If you did like the content, please do like, subscribe, share it with your mates. I really appreciate it. And yeah, happy investing, everyone, and I will speak to you soon. All the best.